So if you're anything like me and you're sitting all day, your muscles might be a little bit tense and tight. So here's a few stretches that I will be teaching Dr. Hetland that we can go through and you can utilize within your own home. So here's Flexibility Friday. The first thing that you will need is a chair, which I hope everybody has. And if you are lucky enough to have one of these wobble discs, this is something that will help stretch out your spine. So with this stretch, you are getting your lumbar and hip flexibility, but adding in that shoulder and neck in there can really get that whole body side stretch in there too. So make sure you're utilizing your whole body as you move side to side. Do it for about 30 seconds side to side. And I like to go slow, so going back and holding for a few seconds here, just feeling that stretch along the back side of your spine and your neck. And then stretching it forward, holding it here. You can bring your hands out if that feels good. Really stretching out those muscles that might be in overdrive right now. You can keep on moving back and forth if that feels good to you. Otherwise, just hold that spot wherever it feels good. So you can get these offline on Amazon for about $20, otherwise you can get it here. So the next thing that you can do is stretch out your hip flexors. When you are sitting down, you are constantly contracting them, hence the reason that they might feel so tight and maybe a little bit uncomfortable. So the muscle that you're stretching is your hip flexor. It starts at the middle of your spine and it connects all the way down over to the outside of your femur. A simple stretch that you can do is utilizing something like a chair or a countertop to step forward into a slight lunge. Key component here is making sure that your knees are at a 90 degree bend. Keeping that knee along the line of your ankle as well as that knee below is going straight down. This will protect your knee joints.
Ow! Hurts.
So, just having your knee elevated slightly off the floor, utilizing your chair as your stability point. If it feels okay to you, come down to your knee, but if not, I recommend staying up off the floor. You'll still get that deep stretch within that hip flexor. But the biggest component is squeezing that back glute to tuck that pelvis under, and if you need that extra stretch, lifting your arm up and over across your side body. Another simple stretch you can do is stretching out your pecs. You can utilize a wall, or if you have a partner, you can utilize them too. So all you have to do is bring your arm up into a 90 degree bend and keeping it pushed in towards each other. Step out with that foot that's facing them and twist your body outwards. You should feel a really good stretch within that pec and shoulder muscle there.
So what we're trying to accomplish here for the seated worker and sitting so much is stretching out the hip flexors, stretching out the psoas and the butt muscles and the leg muscles, and warming up the entire spine and getting our posture back upright and stretching out those tight muscles. Kayla went over how to warm up your lumbar spine and your thoracic spine, warm up your QL muscle, which is between your hip and your rib cage. So we just stretched the hip flexor out even more. We stretched out the chest. The last thing we want to go over is how to stretch out your hamstrings and your back a little bit more. Go over the hamstrings and the back stretch. So we're going to start with our feet together, and we're just going to bend forward at the waist, trying to keep the knees either straight or slightly bent, depending on how flexible everything is. So you're going to bend forward at the waist, and you're just going to try to stretch out that low back and stretch out your butt, and you should even feel it in your hamstring. For emphasis, we can add in the foot going forward and kind of flexing the toe upwards, so you're getting more of a calf and hamstring emphasis. So you're getting that hamstring in the back, more of the calf with the toe up, still getting the low back stretch, but getting more emphasis on that hamstring and the low back and butt. Okay, finally, and not leastly, we're gonna stretch your neck out. So when you're stretching the neck, what you wanna do is just go side to side at first. The SCM muscle and the side neck muscles and your scalenes and your traps, those are gonna be really tight. So just kind of slowly warming up side to side, basically like we did with the wobble chairs, where we're just slowly stretching and giving it just time to loosen up, and then go back and forth. Be patient with it and give yourself 10, 15, 20 seconds and do it again. You know, you might spend a total of a minute or two just doing this one side to side, slowly stretching this whole side out, maybe increasing speed just a little bit. For emphasis, once things warm up, you can add your arm, you can bring your arm behind your back and add even more. You can increase more tension here with the other hand by bringing it back down. You'll feel different parts of your neck getting stretched if your nose is more facing down towards your shoulder versus if your nose is away from your shoulder. You'll feel it more in the front of your neck as well. You're also going to really more emphasize being in extension of your neck. Your neck, when you're seated at work, usually is more down and forward, and everything gets tightened here in the front. So mostly we want to emphasize stretching backwards. So we can go back, straight backwards, and then we can also go diagonally at like a 45-degree angle to get more of that front stretch as well. The thing I would say not to do is do not roll your neck like a counterclockwise or clockwise. A lot of people have damage to their discs and they're not necessarily healthy in their discs, so that can create a lot of problems. All right, so hopefully you got some good value out of the video. Make sure you're stretching at least 10 minutes, probably a couple times a day, would you say? So a summary here as we end this video, make sure your body's warmed up. Get up out of your chair or your couch, move around, maybe go up or down the stairs if you have any, or just walk around your house. If it's nice out, walk outside for a little bit. Just warm up your body and try to remember to stay hydrated and be stretching a few times a day. The more you can stretch, the better, because your flexibility brings a lot of health to your body.